Welcome to Reddit Reader. Redditors, who made a lot of money by sheer randomness? What's your story? I bought a waterproof camera back in 2010 and thought it would be cool to try it out at the new water park that had just opened. 1 year later, the video blew up, making me tons of money monthly. I still make some during the summer months, but not much. Now, I'm just sitting at just over 100 million views. In the 90s, I fostered a dog for some friends who were leaving town and left the dog with me. This dog immediately made a impression upon me, and even though I didn't really want to pet at the time, he was such an amazing dog, he convinced me otherwise. He was super smart, half black lab, half pit bull. I called him Wisdom because he was so smart. Fast forward a few years, I used him as a mascot for a recording studio I set up. I registered the domain name wisdom.com. My dog passed away several years later, and I was heartbroken and depressed for many years. I maintained the domain name, even though I didn't really have any projects associated with it. Over the years, people made offers on the domain name, but I always passed. The domain was a huge homage to my long-lost best friend. Then in 2000, with the .com boom, there was renewed interest in domains and IPOs. I had a few groups bugging me for the domain name and kept increasing their offers. Eventually, the numbers got into the life-changing areas of money, and I couldn't ignore them. I originally secured the wisdom.com domain name for nothing. In the early days of the internet, it didn't cost any money to register a domain name. You just had to fill out the right forms. I actually would never have to pay any domain renewal fees if it wasn't for a sysadmin that made changes to the domain and accepted new terms of service that forced me to have to pay renewal fees. Otherwise, the $475,000 I was ultimately offered in cash would have been pure profit. But instead, my cost was just a few $100s over the year. Still, a significant windfall that gave me the opportunity to take that money and create another cool community of wonderful people. I continue to be in awe that my little dog Wisdom had the ability to bestow such an amazing gift upon me so many years later, and I'm determined to use that gift to help others. I took the money to create a special space that is a makerspace and club to help others. My neighbor died with no friends or family and left everything in her will to us. Everyone always asked if we were great neighbors to her. I'd say no, we were just neighbors and treated her as we would want to be treated and did neighborly duties for her. If it snowed, we cleared her driveway without her asking, took care of her cats if she went to the beach, said hello if we saw her. She was a tough cookie, and an alpha female would be the best way to put it. She hated if I played basketball in the driveway, and when we were cleaning out her garage after she died, we found 3 of my old basketballs. But she was also the type of person, if she wanted an apple pie, she would bake an apple pie, and take a slice and bring the rest over to us. I briefly worked with a guy who was in his late 20s, ex-military. When he got out, a friend of his he served with told him to buy Bitcoin. He bought several thousand worth when it was nothing and forgot about it. When it first started spiking and getting attention on the news, he started looking for the drive because he thought he had some. He did, and he had a lot of it. Sold well before the peak. Dude made millions. He had an $800,000 house, multiple high-end cars, and came to work a manual labor job because he was bored. Needless to say, he didn't stay long, and all he did was show off his money and clock hours not actually working. I found $3,600 in a food takeout box in the middle of a giant field. I live in a rich area and a lot of drug deals happen, so it's possible I stole multiple thousands of dollars from a drug dealer on accident. Someone is probably dead because of this. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it, and subscribe so you do not miss our next upload.